truly set up now. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the day. As you arrive into the space here, as you're able to, finding a comfortable seat, coming up a bit taller through the spine, making yourself a bit more present, a bit more still. Maybe you even choose to silence your phone. Welcome, welcome. So that you can just take a moment to have less distractions. If you're able to, you can even close your eyes. I'll be here with you. And just begin to deepen through your breath. You can open your mouth and just let the breath fall away. Allow your shoulders to relax, your heart to become more open, more present in this space. And take a deeper breath now. Drop the breath down into the belly, through the ribs, all the way up into your heart, your throat, your third eye. Exhale, let it go. And again like that, go a little bit deeper with your breath. Inhaling into the belly, into the ribs. Sawadika, welcome into the heart. Exhale and let that go. And then any gentle movement that you feel like maybe your body could really use. You can roll your shoulders. Maybe you want to move a little through your head and your neck, and trying to move mindfully as a way to just become a bit more embodied. It's very easy to live in the mind, to live in all of our thoughts, to live in the headlines, to live in all of the discussions. And we're just trying to quieten the mind, to connect to the body. And with that, we will come together. Thank you for being here. Let's bring our hands together at the heart center in prayer mudra, and we'll consecrate the space with the sound of Om. If you don't feel comfortable oming, you can just receive in silence. You can just receive, breathing in. Taking a gentle bow, offering the thoughts of our mind into the purity of our own heart, and then coming up tall. Thank you so much for being here. If you are here live and you want to tell me where you're coming from, please feel free to write that into the chat. We are going to breathe. We are going to chant some mantra. I normally do a bigger, physical practice, but today we had some obstacles, so we're creating opportunity out of the obstacle, and hopefully it will stay less rainy and more clear for our time together, but I cannot guarantee it at all. So let's see what the Spirit has in store for us. We're going to come into this alternate nostril breathing. Go ahead and bring your right hand in front of your face. You can make a fist with the hand and release the pinky, the ring finger, and the thumb. And we'll bring the thumb over the right nostril and the ring finger over the left. If this mudra is a bit challenging, you can just keep your hands open and you can use your thumb and your ring finger and just move it very gently like this. And we're just going to work to bring those alternate sides of our being, the masculine, the feminine, the outward, the inward. We're just working to bring this into a bit more harmony. And like I've said, when I do this practice consciously every day, and I do it for maybe 5 to 7 minutes, depending, wow, I feel so clear. I feel less heavy. I feel less prone to my mind going into a more depressive spiral. I feel that I can sustain when I'm working on a project, and I can have energy for multiple projects, multiple tasks. So all of that is very helpful, and it's all coming through the power of our own breath. And like I said, right now especially, it's very easy for all of us to just live in the mental mind, right? It's so much mental chatter. There's so much political division. There's so much people want to help, but is the chatter actually helpful? And it's media, it's scrambling, all of this. And what that does is it gets us really disembodied, and we're lacking a real connection to the body, and the body holds all of this, emotion and memory and keys, portals can open through the body. So we want to, whenever we're deciding to do anything in life, sure, it comes into an intellectual form, right? A thought form, but where do we actually feel it in the body? And is it holding true from our physical body? And there may be a separation, right? And that's why we're not able to maybe move more quickly into our visions, into the world that we want to create for ourselves, because we're disembodied. And you can see that in leadership. You can see that in the whole public arena. You can start to study those people that are in front of you, whatever, wherever you're coming from in the world, and whoever's standing in front of you as far as leadership goes, or personality or celebrity. And you can kind of start to see this disconnection, and then you can see the people who are truly connected. So let's work on that connection. Go ahead and come up tall. This is probably where I'll lose a lot of you, but that's okay. We'll just keep doing this and see who sticks around. Take a breath through both nostrils. Exhale through both. Take the thumb over the right nostril. Inhale through the left. Cover the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Cover, exhale through the left. Again, inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhaling through the right. Exhale through the left. And let's take another minute or so here together to just go through this on our own. Go at your own pace, don't force it. And the next time you empty out of your left channel, you can release your hand down and return to the breath. Feel the energy within you. Feel the space. And we'll move into our Ganesh mantra, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And just join me as you are able to, focusing ourselves towards that energy that helps us to remove all of the obstacles, to truly break it into smaller bits. As my teacher would say, simplify the issue, simplify the problem, and just working one step at a time towards positive solutions. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam 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 Ganapataye Namaha. Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Breathe in and breathe out. I'm taking a moment to just notice the energy, how you feel, what you feel, whether it is brand new or it is familiar. Let's bring our hands into our heart to just seal this portion of our time together. We'll take a breath in. And letting that go. So mantra is a very powerful tool to help us orient the mind, to help us move the mind towards a more positive frequency, a more maybe hopeful frequency, a more uplifted frequency. Within the tradition, it's known to be one of the fastest tools. There may be other tools, there may be other traditions, other modalities that also work to help move the mind towards a more positive, hopeful state. In this tradition, in the tradition of classical Hatha yoga or the yogic tradition, the Kundalini yoga tradition, this is all very much known, right? To really work with the mind, to use the mantra, which my understanding is there's no direct translation, right? But there is an understanding of Sanskrit to move the mind, to leap over the mind, a vehicle, that the mantra becomes a vehicle for the mind. So if your vehicle is really experiencing some bumps on a very rocky road, chanting mantra, putting energy into mantra, allowing the mantra to really awaken the energy within, that's going to move you towards, maybe you're still climbing up a hill, but it's like a little bit smoother. Maybe the road is less bumpy, less, questionable terrain, so to speak. So it can just help us to create more positivity. And positivity isn't necessarily, to just feel happy all the time. And I think a lot of wellness practitioners, yogis, healers, whoever it is, right? Whatever your kind of flavor is within the whole, maybe like umbrella of awakening consciousness, there is quite an assumption that it's sort of just this kind of very foo-foo, happy, light, situation, because that a lot of times is what is projected through the imagery online, right? Because it's peaceful people sitting together, colorful people, playing music, harmony, right? The projection is really about harmony. And harmony can go a very long ways in many different types of scenes or scenarios. But the goal isn't that it is just kind of like a shiny, happy type of situation where we're not really engaged, right? How to engage, but to engage from a harmonious place. How to engage in the world from a place of harmony. And only through harmony are we going to be able to have communication. Are we going to be able to really, at least try to understand one another, to be able to hear another person's perspective, to be able to share without fear, right? That we can actually share our truth and try to understand it and not share it as an ultimate truth, that my truth is now your truth and that's how you should believe and that's how you should feel. Because the whole system of human being human is so complex, and We have different ways of seeing things and different ways of feeling things. So how can we enter into a space of harmony? And harmony comes from being centered. Harmony comes from not being polarized, not being pushed and pulled and, only hanging out on one side of life, right? It comes from a place of diplomacy, of being able to understand how you think, how you feel, so that I can hear you and I don't have to get triggered by your personal beliefs or how you see a situation. And, I'm talking a little bit in code here, but this is what is happening on the planet. Is a lot of people are screaming and a lot of people want to convince you to think or feel in a certain way, and they don't want to listen to you. They don't want to listen to your process and your human, what you've seen and the information that you've taken in, and what is or isn't true for you, or right. It's very complex, and there's a very large, loud voice that just wants you to agree with this thing. And yeah, I guess I'm here to say that you don't need to do that. What you need to do is come into your center. So these are some practices that can help you with that, right? To stay centered and to also disengage. And, people have an issue with that. They want you to engage. They want you to stop everything in your life and to make certain things that are happening in the world your utmost priority. And if you don't make it your priority, then you are supporting the atrocities. And this is kind of crazy. It's just so crazy because you have your human world, you have your human life, you have your family, you have your neighborhood, you have your, you have your world. And that isn't selfish. Like, that is not selfish. That's actually probably doing more, tending to those interpersonal relationships, tending to your community, tending to your village, making sure that the garden is growing where you live, might just be doing more than becoming an activist for the sake of just talking loudly. And that's what a lot of people are doing. That's what a lot of people are doing here on the island where I live right now. And it's not really pushing the needle forward on much of anything. If anything at all, it's creating more disharmony, more destruction. Definitely a fire that's burning down the village versus a fire that people are gathering around to create positive solutions. And this is because people are not really practicing. It's a lot of chatter, it's a lot of mental space, it's a lot of mental movement in a very low vibrational field. So I wish for you to move your mind in a very positive direction of peace, active peace, as a good friend of mine once said, because he didn't want the peace part of like peace to just be like a disengagement, but how can I activate my peace? How can I actively stand in peace? And to actively stand in peace, it takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of compassion, and it takes a lot of tolerance, and we kind of gain the muscles of those limbs, if you will. We build those muscles, we build all of that through these types of practices. And I'm sure there are other practices and other things that you can do, but I am a yogi, and so this is what has worked for me, and I offer it to you with a lot of sincerity. So thank you so much for being here. We will have 2 more days of this Ganesh mantra, so you'll have 5 days in total. Sawadika, hello and welcome. Thank you for being here. And yeah, and they're just kind of happening as they happen. I haven't committed to an exact time because that is why I'm doing this practice, to kind of figure that out. So if you are tuning in and there's a certain time of day that would really work for you to do your yoga practice and to move live and that's super motivating to you, just leave me a comment and let me know where you're at and what time you're tuning in, and let's see what we can create together. Okay, wishing you a lot of love, a lot of peace, a lot of prosperity, and I hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.